Meet the Zoo family. Betty and her family left China to start a new life in New Zealand. Betty's son Bobby is feeling miserable with a fever, chills and stuffy nose. Betty takes Bobby to the doctor, who diagnoses Bobby with the flu and advises Betty to keep offering fluids and paracetamol. This confuses Betty, as doctors in China would typically prescribe an antibiotic drug to treat influenza. The doctor assures Betty that antibiotics would not be effective and that overprescribing can lead to microbial resistance against these drugs. The influenza virus is an acute disease of the respiratory tract. The virus is caused by an RNA virus of the Orthomyxoviridae family. There are 3 types of influenza, which is generally transmitted via infected droplets that are coughed or sneezed into the air by an infected person. As well as being communicable, it is highly contagious. Viruses need a host that gives them everything they need to work. Viruses hijack the host's cell and use the cell's machinery to make lots of copies, so many that the cell bursts and infects other cells around it. Because one virus can reproduce thousands of new viruses, viral infections can spread quickly throughout the body. Viral infections are hard to treat because viruses live inside your body's cells. They are protected from the medicines which usually move through your bloodstream. Antibiotics do not work for viral infections, as these drugs work by poking holes in the cell wall of bacteria, which is thick, rigid, and inside a capsule. Vaccines can help prevent you from getting many viral diseases. Fluid replacement is an important focus for Bobby's recovery, as influenza is accompanied by a fever, which elevates the amount of sweat our body produces in order to maintain our core body temperature of 37 degrees Celsius. Fluid and electrolytes are lost in sweat, and these essential elements must be replaced in order to maintain homeostasis. Paracetamol will help reduce discomfort from fever and inflammation. When children are displaying signs of influenza, it's important to adopt good hygiene to reduce spread. Bobby should be kept away from other children until his symptoms have passed. Although usually not cause for concern, influenza can be deadly, especially for the weak, old and chronically ill. Some flu pandemics have killed millions of people. The Spanish flu pandemic of 1918 to 1919 believed to have killed more people in total than World War I. It is believed that sooner or later a recombination may occur to produce a strain as lethal as the 1918 virus.
A new review says antibiotic-resistant infections, aka superbugs, could kill 10 million people each year and cost the world $100 trillion in lost economic output by 2050.
Antibiotic resistance is a widespread problem, and one that the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention calls one of the world's most pressing public health problems. People are taking antibiotics inappropriately and too frequently, which means more opportunity for bacteria to develop resistance. Colistin, a 50-year-old drug that doctors largely stopped prescribing in the 1970s because of its side effects, has made a comeback in the last 5 to 10 years. It's used as a last resort when other antibiotics fail. Worryingly, this drug is being used more frequently in farming, and such routine use in farming drives drug resistance as bacteria is exposed more often to antibiotics, and drug-resistant strains can then be passed to humans through the food chain. The prevalence of recently discovered colistin-resistant genes, MCR1 and MCR2, pose a particularly worrisome threat. A simple cut to your finger could leave you fighting for your life. Luck will play a bigger role in your future than any doctor could, and the most basic operations, getting an appendix removed or a hip replacement, could become deadly. Cancer treatments and organ transplants could kill you, and childbirth could once again become a deadly moment in a woman's life. So what are we doing? Global leaders will meet at the United Nations General Assembly in New York on the 21st of September to commit to fighting antimicrobial resistance together. This is only the 4th time in the history of the UN that a health topic is discussed at the General Assembly. Heads of state and heads of delegations are expected to address the seriousness and scope of the situation and to agree on sustainable multi-sectoral approaches to addressing antimicrobial resistance. We all have a part to play in the fight against antimicrobial resistance. And I'm happy to report that Bobby made a full recovery.